Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Monday, March the 24th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to open lower this morning with ASX futures off by around 0.5%. Global stocks fell on Friday, but on Wall Street, the S&P and Dow erased earlier losses while the Nasdaq had a strong session after President Trump hinted that he'd be flexible about a new round of tariffs due to be imposed in April. For the week, the S&P was up 0.5%, the Nasdaq up around 0.1%, and the Dow climbed 1.2%. Well, FedEx shares slumped on Friday after the package delivery company cut its full-year profit and revenue forecast, citing continued uncertainty in the US economy. And UPS also fell, with the Dow Transport Index down around 8% since the beginning of the year. Trucking stocks, Landstar and JB Hunt Transport fell heavily. While shares of the airlines, which have recently cut earnings estimates, have been hit hard. They rose on Friday, but Delta and United having tumbled more than 20% this year, while American Airlines has plummeted 35%. And Boeing shares climbed after the Trump administration awarded the aircraft manufacturer a contract to build the US Air Force's most sophisticated fighter jet, beating out rival Lockheed Martin. And Nike fell on Friday after the sports apparel maker projected a sharper decline in fourth quarter revenue than analysts had anticipated. Well, geopolitical developments continue to roil markets. Israeli strikes on Gaza and a Ukrainian drone attack on Russian military airfield have further dampened risk appetite. Investors also worried about the financial fallout from detention of Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan's main political rival. And US President Donald Trump's next move on tariffs remains in focus, with Federal Reserve policymakers considering if they'll lead to persistent inflation. New York Fed President John Williams saying the downside risk to economic growth and the upside risk to inflation are both very high. The yield on the US 10-year note rose modestly on Friday to 4.25%, the 2-year slipping to 3.95%. And German government debt yields moved sharply higher on Friday after the country's upper house of parliament approved plans for increased spending that aims to revive growth in Europe's largest economy and boost its military capabilities. The US dollar has edged up against the euro to mark its first weekly gain this month, and the Aussie dollar has fallen to 62.7 US cents. Bitcoin, meanwhile, is trading around 85,000 US dollars. Oil prices settled higher on Friday to record a second consecutive weekly gain as fresh US sanctions on Iran and the latest output plan from the OPEC Plus producers raised expectations of tighter supply. Brent crude futures settling at $72 a barrel. Copper was little changed on Friday, while iron ore fell more than 0.5% to $101 US a tonne. And gold fell 1% due to a stronger US dollar and profit-taking. US gold futures at $3,021 an ounce. Locally this week, we get the S&P Purchasing Managers Index for March today. Tomorrow night, the government hands down the federal budget. And on Wednesday sees the Consumer Price Index for February. Overseas, China reveals its medium-term lending rates today. Tonight, there's the US S&P PMIs. Tuesday, US home prices and sales. Thursday, US economic growth data for the December quarter. And on Friday, the US Core PCE Price Index for February. And on the corporate front locally today, those companies trading ex-dividend include Lycopodium, New Hope and NRW Holdings. That's your day ahead. See you again tomorrow.